peeking out. He's a complete virgin. He's going to
It's hard to speak about it, especially being a male, because we've been given that we are men, we're tough, we suck it up, we deal with it in our own way. We don't talk about it, we don't let it out.
That you felt like you could tell me. No one was really ever very affectionate in our family.
My daughter asked me where I was going, so going to Malvern. It's a weekend workshop for guys that have the same sort of post-traumatic stress disorder that I have. Oh, okay. What sort is that then, Dad? Deep breath. Male rape syndrome.
Working with men, I hear repeatedly, I'm so alone, it doesn't happen to anybody else.
It's the scariest thing that I've ever done. Probably it means the most to me because it's my life, it's trying to recover from a fucked life before to a decent life, hopefully, getting better and better each day.
It opens up some wounds, yeah, and you go through some pretty torrid times. But you learn the skills to be able to deal with it.
It helps to form that bond of trust, which is so different from everything that happened before that. It's something that I'll never forget.
I have always known that there were things that I knew and had experienced as a 9-year-old that no 9-year-old should ever have to experience. I was sexually abused by a neighbour in the next street. He was very clever at leaving the solid gate to the back lane of the terraced house that he lived in open, with high quality toys on display, bows and arrows, air rifles, air pistols. And he enticed me back when everybody else wasn't around. Boundaries were pushed that I was required to accept physical touching. Things progressed to the point of us both being naked, of him getting me into his bed, and full-on penetration of me by him. So I was given privilege and status and affection that I paid for with my body.
I didn't feel like I fitted out here in society. I wanted to be put in prison. I felt wanted in there and needed. I was damaged goods. I just felt nobody wanted me, nobody needed me. I was worthless. Sexual abuse started when I was 4. It was by my mother. And she used to use a clock while she was doing it to me. She made me look at this clock and tell the time, and I did turn around and see what the heck she was doing one day, and she was kneeling there and she was doing herself as well as doing me. Mother's attitude towards me changed. It became violent against me. She ended up having me put into homes. My first male sexual assault happened in there. It was by a night watchman. He sexually raped me. He penetrated me from behind. It happened every second night. And then other staff members started to sexually abuse me. That was both orally, sexually, penetrating me, getting me to do things to them. Every time I went back to my mother, she would still have sex with me. She'd rape me, get me to have sex with her, penetrate her. And it wasn't until I was 16 when that stopped in the homes. But, you know, after I got out of the homes, I did try to commit suicide. I jumped off a building, I slit my wrists, I took an overdose. But then I started realising that I'm here for a purpose, that I'm not ready to go.
Hi, Sharon. I'm Aidan, nurse here in the operating theatres today. I've got to go through all the paperwork, make sure that everything's ready, make sure that we understand everything that we're going to be doing for you today, and for you to tell us anything that you have of concerns. The burden that I have carried on a day in, day out basis, that at some point in the future there was more than a significant chance that I would turn into a monster.
Okay, great stuff.
Most people really look forward to fatherhood, but for me it was something that I feared, absolutely dreaded it. If I was accused of anything later on, then I wanted to make sure that there was plenty of evidence that I had limited my involvement, intimate involvement with my kids. That was hard. Yeah.
I had a father who was absolutely rotten. He did things that no father should do. I was put into an orphanage. I was abused by clergy. I was shopped around and abused by many different men. They were put there to care for me, to look after me, to help me grow up, not to be their plaything. And that is one of the hardest things to deal with, is learning that it's not my fault. It's their fault.
My journey of recovery was almost accidental. I did find a book called Fear or Favour, and it had on the front cover a picture of a young adult male curled up in a fetal position in the corner of a prison cell. Something deep within me that identified that I was the person on the cover of that book, and I had to have it. I picked it up and put it down 3 or 4 times, but I couldn't walk away from it. I devoured that book and realised that there were people out there who have got an interest and an expertise. After I'd been seeing the counsellor for a few months, I had absorbed enough to understand the crimes were committed against me in secret and the recovery happens in company. That paved the way for the first of the weekend workshops in Malden. The fear and apprehension is just unbelievable. I knew that potentially so much would ride on that weekend.
Hi, I'm Max. Welcome to Malden. Great you got here.
Yeah,
and you're?
Seeing the guys that were across the other side of the car park and thinking, shit, I'm in the wrong place. You know, they look normal. They're not behaving as screwed up as I'm feeling.
Ozzy and Mike. So, we're now here for a good weekend.
Please God, I hope so.
I was being abused by my older brother from the age of roughly 10 years old until I was 16 when I finally moved out of parents' family home to start my apprenticeship. Thought to myself, well, I'm free. I'm finally free. But I wasn't. My wife was going to counselling herself and she asked me one day if I wanted to come along with her to see what was involved. The counsellor, she asked me a bit about myself and I said, yeah, I'd been in jail for drink driving and, been in trouble with the law, mainly, losing my temper. And the counsellor said to me, oh, have you ever been sexually abused, have you? And I thought, what? Why ask me something like this, and no, nothing like that's ever happened to me. I'm a big, strong, tough, macho bloke. Nothing like that has ever happened to me. No, I can look after myself. Yeah, tears was just running down my face and I cried all the way home. If I hadn't have started that, I think I'd be dead by now. I wouldn't have been able to handle the pain anymore.
Just pick a room. It's one of the bunkers. Like, this is all sort of like different rooms, so there's a scanner and then sort of different places and stuff. It's a bunk room here. You can check it out to see, if it feels comfy and stuff.
So were any of these taken then?
Yeah, anything you want, mate.
Oh, this looks okay. I'll be able to cope with this, I think.
Yeah, sweet.
I'll tell you what, it's a relief of actually being here and seeing I've sweated about this for so long.
I know, mate, I know. I was peeking out, driving up myself. But, it's good that you come here. It's really good. It's good that all of us here.
Yeah. When can I start to relax, eh?
Yeah. We get some fresh air, mate.
Yeah, okay, cool.
From the age of about 11, I had a soccer coach. He would sort of call it mucking around and stuff, and it's just, there's no problem, it's just, fun. When I hit about 15, I wanted to go out with girls or other friends my own age. He would ring me up, suicidal, saying he's going to kill himself because he couldn't stand up being with me, all the rest of it. So yeah, that was pretty tough. Finishing school, going through uni and still having him there sort of fucking with my life. Until I basically told him, yeah, if you're going to do it. Kill yourself, I don't care. I don't want you a part of my life and I need to move on. But, that took me another 7 years until I could actually... I just tried to move on and push it behind me and then do another job, move to another town, pick up, try, fall down, pick up again, try, fall down. If I got close to someone, even in a friendly sort of way, no sexual connotations or anything, but even in that, I was scared that that person might become infatuated with me like he did and then want to kill themselves and then I'd be trapped again like I was and I couldn't deal with that. I'm quite bright, I did uni, I've studied, I've got this, and I'm 27 years old, no money, no prospects. That's when I hit the wall and that's when I sort of had to do something to turn it around.
It was very difficult. I was feeling very anxious and stressed out about it. My eldest brother was sexually abused by a football coach. He repeated that behaviour on me and at a very young age, about 5 years old. It continued roughly for about a decade. He would creep in late at night when everyone else was asleep and fondle me. Difficult way to grow up, feeling very, very isolated and vulnerable whenever the parents weren't home. You just don't know anything about the laws and your entitlements, and seeking the right help is fundamental. One of the first times that I had to disclose to someone, and I found that so hard.
Welcome, men. So this Victims No Longer weekend at Maldon. You'll notice you're all a bit nervous. We know it's been hard for you to get here. Remember to breathe. It's got an in and an out. As we go on, you'll feel more game to look at people. And now we'd like you to just put a word of how you're feeling.
Shit scared, probably.
Peaking.
I'm hiding.
It's hard making eye contact. We know there's a lot of funny feelings going on. We'd like you to make a statement. What's the word that would be you're feeling now?
I suppose the only word I can think of is petrified.
Nervous.
Trapped. Terrified. Sheer terror. Very, very close to panic. Yeah.
That whole weekend was a complete whirlwind.
Right, now we've put a line down here representing naught down here to 100% there. Who are the people who now know that you're abused at some time, please? Nobody to everybody. Now I'd like you to move it to who would you like to know?
It's about 75 hands pushing us down. He's shoving. We're going backwards. Yeah, you're not wrong.
You get stuck at different points.
Was that your experience?
Was that your experience? Well, that's what's happening. You know, I mean, I'm still going through it. You know, I've done the lawyers and all of that, and then they write it all up and they send it to you. Look at it. I'm not ready to sign that off.
Yeah. And these bastards talk in front of me about God knows what, in all sorts of tongues, and I'd never had any idea what.
It was huge to disclose in an open way, to unbottle everything that's been caught up and everything that you've, never been brave enough to talk about.
I've, never had, until I come here to Maldon, had other people to be there for me and be around me. And all the times that I ever went to the police or went to my social workers, nobody stood up for me, nobody was there for me to support me. And, I sometimes feel that I'm alone. And every time I did speak out, I was put back into the same situation, never believed, never taken seriously. They didn't understand, what was happening, what was going on in my life at that time. And I think coming here has made me realise a lot of things, that there are other guys out there that are supportive and helping me through this.
Well, Grant, I'm sorry. When you needed somebody to stand up for you, I wasn't around, but there's a bunch of us here that would like to stand up for you now.
We'll stand up for you. We'll stand up for you.
Yeah, mate.
Stand up for you.
Yeah, for you.
If we had been around at the time that you needed us, then we would have stood up for you, mate.
Stood up for me.
We're here for you.
We're here for you, mate.
Always. Stand up for you,
We're
mate.
here for you, man. You don't have to go through this anymore.
We're here for you, man.
Knowing that you're all here for me. When other people weren't. Makes a difference. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're very welcome.
It wasn't until I got to Maldon and spoke with other males. I couldn't put up a mask. All the rest of the guys were all there for the same reason. And without them, I don't think I'd be here where I am today. I really don't.
Come up this little bit. Too much weight. Hang on. You can sit on it. You just go. This one, cousin. If you pull that one down, then no, this one here. What? Oh yeah, because that's high enough. I need you up. That's better. Thanks. Now we can get it.
Got to have the levity to deal with the depravity of what we had as shared experiences.
Now I'm off the ground. No, this one here. What? Oh yeah, because that's high enough.
I hear repeatedly, I'm so alone, it doesn't happen to anybody else. The very general views in society are that we think it might happen to women, but it can't happen to men. When young men are growing up 18, 19, they're developing their masculinity, they're not going to admit this sort of stuff.
Hi, Max.
Oh, just sit with you for a bit and chat about a few things. Yes, thanks.
Men also don't talk about emotional problems very much. It just stays locked away until they come to us in their 30s or 40s to break down that isolation.
As well as everything that I've already had in my mind, listening to all these other fellas.
When they have the opportunity to talk to other men about their particular sexual abuse, they can see that I'm around. Someone will say, Max, this has brought up stuff, can we go somewhere and talk?
And all the men are very powerful too.
They make it quite clear when you start the weekend that you don't have to be a part of everything. I didn't want to be there. I was looking for a place to go and hide. I didn't think I belonged. I didn't think that there was that much wrong with me.
I never expect them to forgive anybody. Child sexual abuse isn't forgivable. To acknowledge that their anger was healthy, that there was a time they'd have liked to chop the bastard up, that's part of the healing stuff.
This is for all the times that you did to me things that you shouldn't have done.
To be able to address that bag as if it was the perpetrator. To do whatever you wanted. Even though it was 35 years too late, the healing was still there.
I know I'll never get to do this for real, but this helps me so much. At last, a chance to be angry, and it's okay! I claim the victory.
He came in, he's popped out, so those who are here,
As men move through the journey, they go through a grieving process. When I talk to them about turning the anger internally on themselves, and counsellors understand that as depression, and they realise how depressed they are, then we move on to how do we get them out of your head and move on. They will never forget it, it's happened. The delete button doesn't work. But if they get to a stage where it's not controlling their life and there are support people to be with them on their journey, then they become much stronger people in the end, and it's just a foul way to learn about life.
There's no way that you're going to hit it off with every one of them in a weekend. And it becomes very daunting, very scary. You pick different guys that you sort of are drawn to talk to.
When she was like looking after the kids and stuff, you'd have a little kid in the past. Oh wow, there's so much imagination.
Yeah. These small on our after we have the same sort of smile.
Yeah. Stuck in.
Yeah.
By the end of that weekend, I'd faced up to some demons, and I knew that I was going to be able to deal with some issues and have the strength to do it.
I haven't had ice cream for ages, but that looks awesome. Cheers. Cheers.
The bonds that have been forged have been profound. We've been able to walk out, meet up on the phone, internet, family barbecues, moving house, going to the police to make reports, going to court to face perpetrators.
One for all and all for one.
The police arrested him. He was due to arrive at court for a date setting. It wasn't unexpected. I mean, this guy had been threatening to commit suicide since I was 12. The other guys I'd been on the weekend with, rang a couple of them up to get that reassurance back to, it wasn't my fault, you know. I am not to blame for somebody committing suicide because, well, they did it because of what they did.
You know, the day you can actually say that you're not a victim anymore, it's like the world has been lifted from your shoulders. I am now doing something I never thought I'd ever do. I'm back at uni, I'm doing a Bachelor of Arts and major in psychology, and then hopefully go back and do my doctorate in psychology. So hopefully in 7 years I'll have a DR before my name.
For the first time, I find myself capable of trusting people to negotiate that path away from the isolation. It's easier to smile. It's easier to be less angry. Having a partner now is something readily achievable, whereas once it just seems impossible and so unlikely.
Now I have found someone that actually understands me and loves me for who I am. Being in love for the first time in my life, I don't have to hide things anymore. I can be myself None of that would have been available had I not started this journey.
If we can tap it and lance the ball, we get rid of the pain. There'll be a scar left, but it'll be a healthy one.